Haaland haggling continues. Liverpool to make Depay play. Leipzig's summer exodus, the transfer roundup, and today's Friday Feels all coming up in the next few minutes. As I'm your host, Matt Froelich, you are the One Footballers, and this is the Daily News. So first up, and Erling Haaland and the haggling that's going on over him is set to continue as his agent Mino Raiola and his dad Alfin Haaland are doing some sort of tour of Europe, hearing what all the big clubs have to say. Yesterday he was in Spain talking to officials from Barcelona and Real Madrid and making absolutely no secret of it. As Spanish reporter Guillem Balaguer said that they could have done things in secret, but they don't want to. They want to make a play of it, they want to make a show of it to basically probably get the biggest offer out of any potential clubs for the player, for the club, and to show Dortmund that they're serious about moving on. Apparently the German club have said they do not want to let him go for anything less than 150 million euros this summer. That's because that is double the amount they will inevitably lose him for next summer when the 75 million euro release clause comes into effect. Obviously, you can see why they want to completely and utterly raise the price for this summer, but 150 million is rather a lot. Anyway, Joan Laporta, the new Barcelona president, has said that bringing in Haaland is something that's near the top of his priority list, and apparently he wants to play alongside Lionel Messi as well. But of course, don't take every single rumour that I or any newspaper is spouting to heart too much, because who knows what on earth is going to happen. What we do know is going to happen with this, for some reason, bizarre European tour that both of them are doing, much more than any musician is doing at the moment, that the next stop is Liverpool. They're heading to the northwest of England to hear what Jurgen Klopp and the club have to say about him potentially joining the Reds. This move I can't see happening purely because Liverpool in the past aren't really known for spending ridiculous money, aside from Virgil van Dijk, on any sort of player. And especially if Dortmund want 150, that's probably more a Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG kind of move rather than a Liverpool move. Honestly, at the moment, it's not quite Beatlemania, but they're certainly going to be causing a stir in Liverpool when their private plane touches down today. Moving on though, and talking of a player that Liverpool could actually sign, apparently they're going to muscle their way in the queue to sign Memphis Depay. 150 million for Haaland or a free transfer for Depay, I know which one makes a little bit more financial sense. The thing is though, with this, and if they can beat Barcelona and a few others to the signing of Memphis Depay, I'm wondering whether he's been brought in as not a backup, but certainly as a player of squad depth, or actually as a starter. There's no way, in my eyes, they're bringing him in for squad depth, because to bring Memphis Depay to Anfield, firstly, they're going to have a hard time convincing him to come and sit on the bench. Secondly, I think he's good enough to start and maybe in the replace of Roberto Firmino. When you look at the backups that Liverpool have got, I've already said it many times, Origi and Shaqiri are good, but they're not quite great. Diogo Jota is fantastic and certainly could challenge Firmino and challenge Mane and Salah as well to all sorts of positions in the front three, and Memphis Depay could do that just as well, which leads me to believe that maybe, just maybe, if Liverpool want a fair bit of money this summer, and there's been talk from the man himself that one day he'll be playing in La Liga, they could be selling Mo Salah. Now, Liverpool fans, of course you don't want Mo Salah to go. Nobody wants him to leave because he's been such a fantastic player and goal scorer for the club. But if they can get 100 odd million from someone for him, then replace him with a free transfer in Memphis Depay, who's not as good as Salah, but not far off in terms of level of quality, and still have brilliant options in attack, Jota, Depay, Firmino and Mane, I think that's a pretty good bit of business. But of course, Liverpool fans, let me know what you think below. Next up though, and the summer exodus at Leipzig, which really could threaten their standings in German football. So what we know at the moment is that Dayot Upamecano has signed a pre-contract agreement with Bayern Munich. On top of this, there have been reports that Ibrahim Konate has passed a medical at Liverpool ahead of a 40 million euro move. On top of this, Marcel Sabitzer is entering the final year of his contract in the summer, so they could be selling him with Tottenham reportedly interested. There's questions over Julian Nagelsmann's future, and on top of all of this, now Christopher Nkunku has been linked with Arsenal. If all of those people leave Leipzig in the summer, they're in a bit of a sticky situation. I mean, it's hard enough breaking down Bayern Munich as it is. Never mind losing half your team and the head coach. Anyway, as for Nkunku's linked to Arsenal, there's nothing concrete at the moment, but this one kind of makes sense to me if they don't manage to bring in Martin Odegaard. Of course, the Norwegian is top of their list when it comes to summer signings. They're hoping to convince Real Madrid at the minimum to let him stay on loan for another season, but at the best, buy him on a permanent deal. There were reports that Arsenal were going to be outpriced from this deal because Real Madrid and Zidane wanted around 58 million for him, but I can see them dropping a little bit if they really want to get rid of him. Anyway, let's say, for example, they can't get rid of Martin Odegaard. Sorry, they can't buy Martin Odegaard because Real Madrid don't want to get rid of him. Nkunku is a pretty good option. I mean, I think it was last season that he had the most assists in Europe. He was doing insane numbers. He's been a brilliant player for Leipzig. And can you imagine an attacking midfield three behind Aubameyang up top of Saka, Nkunku and Smith Rowe? And they've also got Willian in there. There's also Pepe. There's also Reece Nelson. Pretty good going for Arsenal. Not only in terms of the three that I've just mentioned playing, but also the squad depth as well. I actually think Nkunku would be a very, very good signing. And obviously, join a club which is known for having illustrious French players in the past too. Next up then, and to a quick roundup of the rest of the day's news that you might have missed, and Eddie Howe is nailed on favourite to take over the job at Celtic for the start of next season. Elsewhere, Benfica are the latest club to be linked with Sergio Aguero, but it looks as though Chelsea are the favourites at the moment. Manchester United are testing Roma's resolve with a €30 million bid for star forward Nicolo Zaniolo. And lastly but not least, some bad news on the Champions League front for Sergio Ramos and Jadon Sancho. Both of them have injuries which will rule them out for the Champions League tie. In Jadon Sancho's case, he'll miss the first leg against Manchester City but may make it back for the second leg. With Sergio Ramos, he's got injured on international duty with Spain. It's a calf injury at quite possibly the most important part of Real Madrid's season. I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for the players and the fans as well. 3 massive games as Real Madrid take on Liverpool, Barcelona, then Liverpool. And he's missing all 3 games. Not exactly what you want to hear if you're a Real Madrid fan. Moving on then, lastly but not least, to this week's Friday Feels. You guys know what it is. Leave your footballing predictions down below. We'll read out a few of the correct ones on Monday as club football is back. First off, in Athletic Bilbao, this is bizarre, face the first of 2 Copa del Rey finals in the space of 2 weeks. This weekend they play Sociedad in what is effectively the 2019-2020 version of the Copa del Rey in Spain, and I think they're going to win 1-0. In 2 weeks' time, they take on Barcelona in the final of this year's competition. It was moved because of Corona, they couldn't find another date. It's all a little bit bizarre. Anyway, Athletic Bilbao to win 1-0 against Sociedad this weekend. Next up, and to the Premier League, and I think Leicester City are going to cause a shock. Manchester City come to the King Power Stadium, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Leicester. And lastly but not least, even though they're without Robert Lewandowski, I still think Bayern Munich are a damn good team, so they're going to go to Leipzig this weekend and win 3-1. That's all from me then. Make sure you let me know your Friday feels down below. Check out everything else we've got going on OneFootball. Have a great weekend, and I will see you guys later.